the job wouldn't change at all? Now that has that been the case? Do you feel any different at all? 10 practices, 11 practices in?
When I say the job hasn't changed, I really meant it. It's make the players better, go coach the locker room, find a first down, and outwork the team up north. The job hasn't changed. The title. Now the focus has changed a whole bunch. I used to pride myself on being involved with every unit in the locker room, and now I got 8 guys. I'm just worried about the tight end. So I apologize to the other position groups, but the focus has definitely changed. The job has not changed.
When you look at it's probably not a fair way to ask this question, but what do you hope to accomplish with the unit as a whole? I know every specific guy's got a different plan. What are you hoping to get done by the end of next week? Yeah,
by the end of spring, and I told the guys, when I leave spring, I know what value each guy can bring. And today we challenged them to be versatile. Look at a guy like Cade Stover. Everyone knows Cade as a big dominant blocker, physical leader. When he came back, I told him, you don't grow when you're comfortable. So for me to put him on the line and just go block D ends, he's not growing. So using him as an example, how many times can I make him uncomfortable this spring? Put him at positions he hasn't played. Give him drills he's never done before, techniques he hasn't used before. So for each guy, I'm trying to make them uncomfortable so they could grow.
When you say that you were involved with everyone, now you're down to 8 guys, how much did you have to get to know those guys on a deeper level? How much did you have to get to know them as players? You weren't a new coach, but you, as you said, you kind of had an expanded role. Now it's more focused.
No, and you're exactly right. I think now I knew each guy before, but to this level, no way. And how you love someone is by spending time with them. And I just poured into these guys. They've done a great job of opening themselves up to be coachable. And my favorite part of this new gig is these guys. Like I get home at night and I'm like, Paige, look at this clip of whoever making a block, or hey, Jelani learned this new technique or whatnot. Like I'm bragging about my tight ends to my wife like they're my own, and it's been a ball.
Keenan, you mentioned Jelani. It seems like he's been doing well when we've been out here. Just what are you seeing from him in his first spring?
No, he's been doing really well, and I think it's easy for freshmen to come in and kind of be complacent, especially early enrollees, like, oh, I made it because I'm getting reps or whatnot. But Jelani, the best thing he's done is his off-the-field habits. I mean, Jelani and Carnell Tate are 2 of the first guys in here every day. And I go into my office at the end of the night, and Jelani's in there with our GA, Sean Binks, who's one heck of a coach, and they're going over tomorrow's script, or they're watching film, learning new things. So, yes, he's a big, physical, athletic dude, and he loves football, but, Dan, the best thing Jelani's been doing is off-the-field habits.
What has impressed you about him on the field, Keenan? I mean, he stands out number 1.
No.
Physically.
No, physically great, but again, I know you're not going to really like this answer, but it hasn't been something physically, because God gave him talent. We challenge our guys to get skill and discipline. Yeah. And he's doing things now on film that, because he followed the lead of Cade and G and Joe and those guys, he's doing things now habitually, finishing +2, going 2 extra seconds on blocks that you don't really see early release do. So that's what I'm most impressed with.
When a guy like him comes in, when a superstar, so to speak, tight end comes in. What? No, but I'm saying, a guy who made his mark by catching balls, not necessarily blowing people up the line. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
Do you know you've got a project there from the standpoint of the blocking part? I mean, just what is he like in that aspect?
No, typically when tight ends come in, like you're saying, one play they got to be Paris Johnson, the next play they got to be Garrett Wilson, right? And I love those 2 guys, but we never asked Paris to get open or Garrett to block. So they got to do it all, and I think the versatility is something that's not usually done in high school, like you just said. If I'm Coach Boone down at Langston Hughes, I would have put Jelani out there and just throw fade balls to him. I would never ask him to block these DNs because you got a mismatch. But up here, you got to do it all, and that's the biggest adjustment.
Yeah, me and that coach would get along, I think.
Oh, he's the best.
Real quick, you're we've talked to you many times, but your experience with the wides and stuff, how's that helped you in this role as the full-time tight end coach? You understand what I'm saying? I mean, what did you gain there that you're leaning on?
Yeah, and not just specifically Tim the receivers, but also the O-line. I tell my guys in my future Buckeyes, I don't have tight end drills. And they're like, what? They're like, no, I got receiver drills, and I'm going to coach you like I coach Jackson and Chris and Garrett, and I don't have O-line drills. Because when it's time to block, I'm going to coach you like Coach Fry, Coach Paris, and DeJuan. Period. Because on one play, you got to be him, and one play, you got to be him. So I think just kind of molding those 2 together, tight end coaches are either run first blocking guys or route running guys. I got to do both. Mm-hmm. So when you come here and play tight end Ohio State, you're going to get coached like Jackson got coached and like Paris Johnson got coached.
You mentioned Jelani.
I'm sorry.
How much growth have you seen him blocking? I mean, like you said, you have to be able to block a tight end. How much growth have you seen?
Yeah, we're getting better every day. I think blocking something, again, you got to rely on technique. and his skill and discipline, and using a guy, again, those 3 older guys, K, G, Joe, the whole room, have been really good for Jelani, and he's getting better every day.
You seem like you're having a blast.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
For you've been in this building for a long time. You didn't have to learn anything new about this building, but like just to finally be in it and now be, I think, 9 practices in. Like,
Oh, yeah.
How much fun are you having?
Yeah, I don't want it to end. Like my worst time of day is when Coach Day calls them up. I swear, I mean, I just have so much fun with my guys because of the guys. We're talking about 8 dudes, 15 practices, and knock on wood, no one that started spring has missed a single practice yet. These guys just want to get better. They want to get coached, and I'm learning too. I mean, we got Coach Hinton and Coach Binks in the room. I'm learning from them every day. So it is a riot.
Are you just like, so you said you don't want it to end, so like when you get into fall, has it I guess what I'm trying to ask, has it set in yet for you that like you haven't really made it, but also like you're finally in a position?
My language. No, I have not made it, and that's no. But I think what you're saying is I had an exhale aha moment that we're here. Yeah. I hope not. The second I do that, I'm robbing these guys and maybe 1% of my best. So I hope it's going to be hair on fire. If you see me walking around with a whistle or something, call me out on it. That's not happening.
We don't typically see true freshman tight ends play much at Ohio State. Is Jelani somebody who has a chance to break that?
They all have a chance, Dan. I don't want to put expectations. Once you start putting expectations, you're gonna hurt yourself. If he keeps attacking every day like he has and off the field with Coach Binks, then he's got a shot.
Keenan, last year when in the Georgia game, when Cade came out, there was obviously a noticeable drop off from that. His absence was pretty conspicuous. Where are things in terms of developing these other guys to maybe, if that happens again, you guys aren't left in such?
Yeah, no, and that's a great question. The only way we're going to figure that out is if I replicate that at practice. There's been times that, again, using Cade as an example, Cade's been the absolute best at being uncomfortable. So there's been times that I sent him down with the receivers to learn some route running work, and I said, hey, guys, Cade's out the game. Joe, G, Bennett, Sam, Pat, you guys got to fill it, right? Because Georgia, we didn't anticipate that, and we had to throw Mitch in there. And Mitch, I'm always use Mitch Rossi as an example of stepping up and having competitive excellence. So kind of simulating that in the spring has been great. Hey, Cade, you're out these 2 periods, you know? And then also for Cade, what if, okay, your shoe's untied. What kind of leader are you from the sideline? Because he's the guy who always wants to be in the trenches. Okay, how do you lead from the sideline?
Keenan, do you have someone who can do some of the things that Mitch did for you all as sort of that like insert kind of fullback blocker role?
We definitely got some ideas and we're playing with them. I'm not gonna say what we've been doing. I'm not gonna be that guy, but yeah, we're definitely kind of playing around. How many different jobs can each of my tight ends do? Right? Can I be a route runner and a blocker? Can I carry the ball? That versatility we've been playing around with.
Last year, this time last year, it seemed like Joe was on a pretty good upward trajectory, and I know he got hurt, and he had the personal stuff off the field that was unfortunate. But how do you see him now, maybe on the other side of some of that stuff, and is he looking like the guy who seemed like he was making some moves last year?
Yeah, Joe. This version of Joe Royer is the best that I've seen, and I think it goes back to 8 weeks before spring ball. He's added 12 pounds. I mean, he was bragging he was the heaviest tight end in the room. And now Cade has slimmed down, and Cade looks great too. But I think those extra 10 pounds of muscle have been helping out Joe. He's doing some things now in the blocking game and the route running game that maybe he didn't even do a year ago because he was lighter. So yeah, no, he's definitely playing well.
Just look down there and see Bennett working with the quarterback. It seems like every day that we're in here, he's working one of the last guys out the field with the quarterbacks. Have you seen that from him? And
his work ethic is great. His work ethic is great. Every day, like you just said, Bennett is always trying to get better. And hats off to him. No, if he keeps that up, he's gonna have a great career here.
You mentioned you're not satisfied. You don't want to be satisfied. Where's the goal? What do you want to do long term?
I just try to keep the blinders on. I know, yes, I have my own goals, and I'll look at them one time a year in July when I'm on the beach with my wife. But besides that, I mean, we got whatever tomorrow's practice is. We got to have a great meeting, and we got to beat Indiana week 1.
Have you seen G's mindset kind of grow a little bit since it's not a secret what happened in November with him, but like, you know, where has he rebounded best from that moment? And do you think he'll use it as a learning opportunity maybe to grow?
Yeah, and I think if you ask G, say the same thing. He and I every day are talk about stacking days, just one day at a time, one period at a time. And he's done a great job at that. Has not missed a practice, has not missed a rep yet so far. And he keeps getting better. Now he's even a leader. He's taking Jelani. Hats off to G. He's taking Jelani under his wing and showing him here's how it needs to be done.
It seems like everybody's always talked about the physical skill set with him. Like, everyone knows what he can do.
Who's that, G?
Yeah. Is it more like almost like a mental block from going over from wide receiver and starting there, then coming to tight end, and then I don't know, trying to get on the field now. Do you see like him start to get over some of that?
Yeah, no, and I don't think it's a mental block. I think it's actually the opposite. I think his mentality is great. I think it's a physical thing, right? Again, I'm asking a guy who was with Coach Hartline for 2 years, who came in as an X receiver to block JT, and the next is Jack. So he's getting those techniques down. His body's changed, and again, he's doing that better than he ever has.
Do you think it was frustrating for him because obviously when he moved to tight end, there was a block at wide receiver that it hasn't happened quicker? Did that have to be a conversation at one point that this may take time?
It wasn't with me. He's been nothing but great, and he understands that he was in a developmental position. Again, with me, I don't want to speak for G. What else?
Sorry if you asked earlier
Last
about
question,
Jelani, but he's somebody who's going out to us, and it certainly looks big for a freshman. But where's he at? How's he coming along?
Yeah, good. I was just telling these guys, off the field, his habits have been great. So every day he's gotten better, and that hasn't been a coincidence. He spends more time in here at night with Sean Binks than anybody. So yeah, really impressed.
Spending time doing what?
Learning the playbook, watching his film, the plays that are in tomorrow, walking through those, taking care of his body.
What's the challenge for freshmen to play at the tight end position? 'Cause that sounds like necessarily there's a lot on your plate. How big a learning curve is that?
Yeah, first off, I think learning the playbook, right? We have a pro-style offense, so I got to learn the run game, right? That maybe a receiver doesn't maybe have to do as much. I got to learn the pass game that an offensive line doesn't have to do as much. So we're kind of have to learn it like a quarterback. We got the run game, the pass game, and the pass protection game. So learning it's one thing, and then executing it with the techniques and against some pretty big dudes and physical dudes is the second piece.
On the field, is there anything jumped out about him?
No, I think I was telling these guys he's just a competitor and he loves it, and I think that's definitely a trait.
Keenan, thank you very much.
Of course.